So before now, we've been able to understand that trading is not just a function of technical analysis. There are so many reasons why trading seems to be a little bit complicated. Okay. And some of those reasons are what we are going. There is a place of technical analysis, there's a place of strategy, there is a place of risk management. However, trading have a lot of things with personality, right? It's something that seems a little bit spiritual. You cannot be successful in trading if you don't really understand yourself, and that is why today's topic is something that is very important. Okay, so we want to look at the reason why some of us are not making as much progress as we ought to, or we are having this frustration from the market, and to the point of even wanting to quit. Okay, so we want to look at the reasons why we keep losing to the forex market. So if you are joining us from the Telegram community, you can type Telegram family, and please don't forget to like the live so that YouTube can recommend it to more people. So try to like so that YouTube can recommend it to more people. Thank you. So I was trying to say something, that there are so many reasons why we lose money when it comes to trading. There are so many reasons. Okay, and we'll be taking this reason one after the other. Now, there is a place of technical analysis. There is a place of you understanding how to read the chart. There's a place of having a good psychology. But after you must have put all these things in place and you start executing trade, now there are other ingredients that you are supposed to be very much aware of. And because of the fact that we are not paying attention to these things, we become too rigid that we no longer have, we no longer enjoy the outcome of some of the positive impact of our decisions. Okay, so please try to like the live if you are joining, and also type Telegram family in the comment section if you are joining us from the Telegram. Okay, please try to like the live if you are joining us. Thank you very much. So the first thing I want to use is I want to use this particular trade to show an illustration, right? Now, this is a trade we took in our VIP community, and you can see that we executed this trade from this POI after having a very solid confirmation. Thank you. Please, if you are joining the live, help me to like it, and so that YouTube can recommend it to more people. Please try to like the live. So I'm trying to explain something with this analysis. Remember that we are treating why a lot of people are losing money, or why people are not making much progress when it comes to trading. If you look at this trade, we executed this trade from here after having our confirmation. Look at the candle reactions from the POI. Look at the candle reactions from the POI. You can see that it was actually a very perfect candlestick confirmation. So we had this trade entry from here, and look at how far the trade moved before it started retracing. I'm already out of this market, but then the market has not actually gotten to the final TP. Now, one thing you need to understand is you are not the one controlling the market. We are dealing with the system of probability, and sometimes if trade has moved this far, you have no reason why you should not take some profit. So one of the number one reason why we are not, or people are not making much progress, is they don't know how to manage their trade, or they don't know how to manage their profit and loss. So in essence, I'm saying that we have about how many TPs here? We have TP1 and TP2. Based on this move, this trade has already smashed TP1 and TP2, but it has not gotten to our final TP yet. Now let's check how many risks to reward is this move. Now if I move it close to this point, we'll be having 1:4 risk to reward ratio. Now the problem here is some persons will be so rigid that they don't know that this trade has moved to a point where it is very okay for you to close or take partial. So what they do is they want to hold on to this trade until it gets to the particular point. Now, when the trade time is behaving like this, because of course the trade will not always keep going in your direction. At some point, it will retrace and then continue. Now, when the trade have such a huge pullback like this, excuse me, please. When the trade have such a huge pullback like this, the psychological effect is that they start panicking and they start feeling so frustrated, and they start having the regret of, I should have closed this trade, I should have left this market by now, I should have closed this trade, or I should have left this market by now. And at the end of the day, they are forcing how to recover the money that they have lost from here, and then you find them, traders giving them a lot of money, we ended up turning into a losing trade. Now, what is the solution to this? Once you have executed the trade and you notice that that trade has given you 1:2 risk to reward ratio, the best thing you can do to yourself is to take partial or close. Now, let me show you another trade. I hope you guys are following. If you're understanding what I'm saying, please, I need you to comment in the comment box. I need to say something. Let me be sure that you guys are following. And if you have any question, always feel free to ask. Hope we are still together. If you are still together, type it in the comment section. Let me see that you guys are following. Jide, you're welcome. All right, so let's proceed. I want to show you another trade setup we took. Was it jump 100? I don't know if it's jump 100 or jump 10. I think it's jump 10. Let's check jump 10. There is a trade we took on jump 10. That was yesterday. Yeah, this is the trade. We had a trade entry from this point, right? This trade moved to as high as this. Now, as at this point, I'm already having a profit of $100. In fact, I was trading the accounts. I was trading this particular pair on $100 account. So it has given me like ×2 of my account size. So what do? I noticed that when price tried to break this particular high here, right? Let me zoom out so that you can see it clearly. When price tried to break this particular high here, there was a rejection. So since I already knew that this trader has actually given me a good amount of money, what do? I closed. I closed doesn't mean that there is no potential for this trade to move fast again. The trade is still definitely going to go. But then I'm trying not to be greedy. So these are some of the things that some of you are practicing that is not helping you out. Once you have made some profit that is very, very reasonable, for instance, you have an account size of $50 and you have made a profit of 40, that is almost ×2 of your account. There is nothing wrong in closing. Even if the trade has not gone far, there's nothing wrong in closing, except maybe you have the potential to want to hold the trade for long. Okay, so ensure that you don't make these mistakes. Learn how to manage your loss, learn how to manage your profit. Especially, this is not me telling you that once you enter a trade and the trade is in profit, you should close your trade. No, if you are doing that, you may end up missing out on major move. But what I'm saying is you should work with percentage, right? And try to see that you have gotten a very reasonable amount of percentage increase on your initial capital. So there is nothing wrong in closing a trade. If you have a $10 account and you enter a trade and that trade has given you like $20, that is like ×2 of, you've made more than ×2 of what you started with. There is nothing wrong in closing. So that is one of the That is one of the things you need to pay attention to henceforth. We are coming towards the end of April and we are like trying to enter the new month starting from next week. So you should always have a way to like reevaluate some of the decisions you've made this month and then see how you can do better in the coming months. So another thing again that I have seen that is affecting a lot of person is the idea of trading psychology. Now, trading psychology is something that you will have to keep learning and learning and learning. Now, this aspect of trading psychology that I'm referring to is how you think about the market. How you think about the market matters. Now, you need to understand that you will not always be right in the market. Now, I've dropped a trade call in my VIP group this morning on volatility 100. I want to show you the trade. Now, I have executed the trade and I actually told them what they should do. I think now this is the trade call. This is the trade call. You see that I told the guys I've entered the trade already. The pair is somehow volatile, and so okay, I was explaining to them that I entered the trade already. The pair is somehow volatile, so I entered as to have a more considerable stop loss. You can check your risks and enter as well. Now, this is me being very, very realistic with them that it is not all the time that everything will go well. The most important thing is to be aware of the decisions that you are making, right? You need to be very much aware of the decisions that you are making as a trader. And that is why you see me explaining these things to them. Now, I want to show you how the trade currently is. To be very honest with you, I don't know whether the trade is in profit or not. But one thing is certain. You need to always have that right way to think about the market, that since you are not always going to be right in your decision making, the best thing that you can do is to learn how to mitigate your loss. Like you learn how to manage your risk and then determine how much you want to risk before entering any trade. So you need to figure out how much you want to risk before entering any trade at all. So you can see that the trade is already in a very massive profit. The trade is already in a very good profit. Now this is the trade. See that the trade is already in a very good profit. So this doesn't mean that I knew what was going to happen. No, I never knew what was going to happen. We are dealing with a system of probability, and that is why I am always concerned about managing risk. And when it comes to managing risk, people will always say risk 1% of your account size. Many of us don't really have a reasonable account size to even, operate in that level. For example, if you have a $50 account, now what is 1% of $50? 1% of $50 may not even give you a conservative stop loss to enter any trade. So sometimes the idea of risking 1% of your account may not work if you are trading with a very small account size. So the best thing that you can do is always determine the exact value or the exact amount you are willing to risk. For example, this trade here, I made just 2 execution on this trade, right? And I am risking, I think I'm risking 20 something dollars on this trade. I'm risking about 20, let's say 22, $23 on this trade because I opened 2 positions and I think one position is giving me a risk of, it's slightly above $10 though, so it's around $20 or thereabout that I'm risking. But what's my target? My target is just this high. My target is just this high. This is the high that I'm targeting. This is my first TP. And once that happens, I'm done. Why? Because if I if the trade hits this profit target, it would have given me more than like times two of my account size, which is a reasonable risk to reward ratio. So you don't need to be greedy when you are trading, but understand that you will not always be right, and then determine how much you are willing to risk before executing or before clicking the buy or sell button. So I've mentioned two things that I expect you guys to take note of. Number one is the right way to think about the market. Number two is your ability to control your greed, which is the first thing I explained. And I'm saying that the moment you are in profits, you should always learn to take your profits. I mean, the moment you are in profits and the profit is considerable enough, you should always learn how to take partials. Okay, so that is one thing. Now, the last thing that I want you to understand is the idea of having the proper way to approach the market. And this is where your skill comes in. You can see that most of the two setup I've shown you is well defined. Like, look at the POI and look at how price is reacting from from the POI. So this is not something that is based on guesswork. So when I marked this POI out, I was waiting for price to come in there. So you need to also know that the way you think, or your knowledge about the market will also help you to succeed. So you cannot approach the market doing a guesswork and then hoping that it will go in your favor. No, you need to be certain about what you are doing. And another thing is, you cannot trade all the strategies in this world. You can't trade all the strategy in this world because there is no strategy that is an holy grail. There are times where your strategies will work. There are times where your strategies will not work. When your strategy is working, you are going to make money. When your strategy is not working, definitely you are going to encounter some losses. But what will keep you alive is when you now have a good way to manage your risk. Now, when you go online, sometimes you see people criticizing others, especially in this trading industry, that, oh, he entered a trade and he went in loss and all that. Now, if you are not that kind of person that maybe you have been trading for like more than 1 year or thereabouts, you may not understand what it is to be a trader. And me personally, I don't judge people, especially traders, because I have seen the ups and downs of this journey. So sometimes you need to understand that a particular trader is experiencing a bad trading time. It doesn't mean that the person does not know what he's doing. So you don't need to be quick to conclude that, oh, this one is not working, this one is the best. No, you don't need to be quick to do that, because every strategy have a period where it will work, and every strategy have a period where it will not work. So understand that and learn how to stick to your trading plan. So having said this, please, if you are joining us, try to like the live so that YouTube can recommend it to more people. Please try to like the live so that YouTube can recommend it to more people. And if you are from the Telegram, you can just comment or ask questions if there's something that you want me to explain. If there is a particular setup you want us to do analysis on, also feel free to type it in the comment section. Okay, there's a particular topic you want us to look at, type it in the comment section. A particular, maybe a pair you want us to do analysis on, you can drop it in the comment section. So that is that about some of the few things that you need to pay attention to. I've mentioned controlling of your greed, and what I said there is, once you are in a good profit, learn to take partial, or learn to, take your profit, and also think right about the market. Think in probability. You will not always be right, and so always ensure that you determine your routes before you enter a trade. And there are some things that you can control, and there are things that you cannot control about this market. It is important that you focus on the things that you can control, and those things that you cannot control, you ignore them and let the market decide the outcome. For example, when you do your analysis, you have the control to determine how much you want to risk, where you want to take your profit, where you want to put your stop loss, which is what you are seeing here, right? But the moment you've done all that, if you have decided that, okay, I'm going to risk $10 and all, and then I'm going to take my profit here. For example, I've just shown you that I'll be taking my profit from this level. The moment you click the buy button, what will happen next is no longer your control. It's now beyond your control. So I'm saying you do not have to pay attention to that. What you should pay attention to is what you can control, which is how much you want to risk, where you want to exit the trade, or where you want to enter from. So once you have been able to determine those things, every other thing is no longer your business. You just have to allow the market to decide what the outcome will be. Because the moment you find yourself always checking your chart, you are panicking, oh, is this trade in loss? Is it in profit? No, you are not doing it the right way. You should not always be on the chart because you become scared. There are times that a trade will consolidate. I've entered a trade that consolidated for more than 24 hours before moving in profit. And I allowed the trade to run. Not because I am 100% certain that it was still going to go in profit, but because I have taken care of those things that I know I can control. So that's the reason why I was able to hold on to the trade that long. Okay. So someone said we should look at volatility 75 index. So we are going to open volatility 75 index, and I think I have a trade set up that I'm waiting on volatility 75 index. Let's see. If you have a pair you want us to look at, drop it in the comments, okay? So let's check volatility 75 index. Oh, it's still very far from my POI though. It's still very, very far from my POI. This is where I want to make trade entry from. This is where I want to enter the trade from. This is my POI. So I'm just waiting for price to clear all this liquidity. Okay. And then when price gets in here, I will have my executions from this exact POI. Mr. Albert, I hope that is taken. I hope that is taken. I already marked it out already. I even know that someone is going to ask for it. But I'm just waiting for it. I've done the analysis already. And just to explain a few things about the analysis, I can see that there was a sweep of this high. Okay. Price gave a break of structure here. Okay, you want me to do a top-down analysis on it? All right, let's go to the 4-hour time frame. 24-hour time frame, please. So let's go to the 24-hour time frame and then we can do a top-down analysis on it. So this is the daily time frame. You see, if you have been following this live class, you should have learned a lot of things about how to approach the charts. This is the daily time frame. And the first thing you are saying is that I have drawn my Fibonacci. Why am I drawing my Fibonacci? I've told us about fake retracement and valid retracement. I told you that the most suitable retracement or pullback that is of high probability is above the 50% Fibonacci level or below the 50% Fibonacci level. Now, if you notice, I have been able to draw the Fib like this, and this line here, this line here represents the 50% Fibonacci level. As you can see, this is it. So now that price has Okay, you want us to do a top-down analysis on jump 10. You want us to do a top-down analysis on jump 10, right? So I was explaining something actually. I said that price is actually bearish on this particular pair, which is volatility 75 index. Price is bearish. Okay, price is bearish. Now I want to identify the most recent lower low and the most recent lower high, which is this lower low and this lower high, because we have a major break of structure here. So this is the most recent lower, this is the most recent lower high, and this is the most recent lower low. Okay, so I have been able to use my fib to check when this retracement will be valid. And I noticed that this retracement is already valid because it has crossed above the 50% Fibonacci retracement level. And then, and I have to look out for what? My entry. So if you go to the 4-hour time frame, it will be clearer. So on the 4-hour time frame, after price has reacted from the 50% fib level on the 24-hour time frame, I noticed that there was a sweep of a previous high, which is this. We had a break of structure, price pulled back to this particular point, and then gave us a second break of structure. And for those of you who have been following up with this live class, I've shown you time without number that if I'm looking out for a sell opportunity, this is the type of setup that I'm looking out for. I want to see something like this, that price will take out a previous high, give a break of structure, have a 50% retracement, and then another break of structure. So you can see that this is a sweep of what? The previous high. Let me be comparing it so that you see. Now this right here is the same thing. Sorry. This thing right here is the same thing as what I have marked out here. Now this break of structure here, this is it. Now this pullback here, which I said is above the 50% Fibonacci level, represents my liquidity. And that is what this stage is representing. And then we have our second break of structure, which is this. Now my POI is here. My POI is on this particular point. I'm waiting for what? Price should clear out all this liquidity. Price should retrace all the way to this point and get to this particular POI before I enter. Okay, so that is exactly what I am trying to explain on this platform here. I mean on the chart here. There was a sweep of a previous high, a break of structure, my liquidity, second break of structure, and we have this supply candle as our POI. So I'm very, very patient till the day price. This may not happen, this may be next week trade, but then I've already marked it out and I'm just waiting for it to get to this particular point before I entered. So that is my view on volatility 75 index. So let's look at job 10. Someone said we should do a top-down analysis on job 10. If there's any particular pair you want us to do analysis on, you can always drop it in the comment box. Once I see that, I will attend to it. Or if you have a question, feel free to ask. If you have a question, feel free to ask. And if you are joining, kindly ensure that you like the live, please. If you have not done that, do so now. You can like it so that YouTube can recommend it to more people. Thank you. So let's look at job 10. So this is job 10. Let's start from the daily time frame as usual. Now, the same thing I explained is the same thing that is happening here, right? We see that the overall trend of job 10 is bullish because of what? Multiple break of structure to the upward direction. This is a break of structure to the upward direction. This is the most recent break of structure. Now, let's identify the most recent trading range using our Fibonacci. So this is the last higher low and this is the last higher high. So I'm going to draw it from here to this particular point. Now, do you see that price is already below the 50% Fibonacci retracement level? This is the 50% and price is already there. So now that I've been able to identify that, let's go to the 4-hour time frame. I've been able to establish a basis. Now I want to show you why I marked out that particular POI. Just like I explained to you in the case of a buy market, if I'm looking out for a market that is selling, that is buying, I want to see something like this. Price coming back to take out a previous low. Price should give me a break of structure and price should give me a pullback and then possible another break of structure. Then I'll be looking out to make my trade entry from this POI. And this right here represents my liquidity. So what I want to see next is price should retrace all the way back to this particular point and I'll make my trade entry for a continuation. So this is what I want to see if I'm looking out for what? A buying market. Now the same thing is happening here. Look at what happened here. We have a sweep of this low, a break of structure, and this right here represents my liquidity. Okay, and I already have my POI marked out. If I go to the 1 hour, let's go to the 1 hour to see how I managed to refine the other block that I'm using. So you can see how I managed to refine the other block to this particular one. This is the 1 hour time frame, right? So what happened? Price gets to the exact POI and reacted from it. Look at the reaction. So this is the reason for the buy call. I hope that is taken. So which other pairs do you guys want us to look at again? If you have any particular pair you want us to look at, you can drop it now. Let's do justice to it. I hope Mr. Jide is clear with Jump 10 index. So here is another trade again. Let's check the POI. Okay, let's go to the 4 hour time frame. Here is another trade. The same thing. Sweep of a previous low, liquidity, and your POI. All you need to do is to be patient until price gets to that particular block, and you will have your perfect trade execution. This is also another trade on volatility 151x. You can see how massive the moves is. See how clean it is from the exact POI. So this thing is not actually a guesswork. This is something that knowledge will help you do. And that is why when I'm emphasizing on the reason why a lot of persons are losing, I've talked about greed. I've talked about improper way of thinking about the markets, and I've also given you like the right way to think about the market. Also, another thing is, please, how do you always know the right POI? Well, how do I always know the right POI? It's because I already have a framework that I am using to trade. Do you get? I already have a framework that I'm using to trade. Okay, I believe this is Albert. Aldo. Now, in the bootcamp that we are going to start next week, you guys are going to learn all these things there. The bootcamp that we are going to start next week. So if you have not registered for the bootcamp, you can still do that. Don't worry, you are going to learn so many things in the bootcamp, and some of these things that are confusing you will be cleared by then. Okay? So, but just to answer your question, I already have a framework that I'm using to trade. I already have a framework that I'm using to trade. So each time I see it, it will play out. It's just like you have a picture of okay, let me use your girlfriend for instance. Let me try to be, let me use your girlfriend for instance. You have a picture of how your girlfriend looks like, right? So anytime you see it or anywhere you see it, you know that, oh, even if she's not your girlfriend, this person look like my girlfriend, or this person looks like my friend. Why? Because you already have that picture in your head. So I already have a framework that I'm using to trade, and I have the picture in my head already. So anytime I see it, I will always identify it that, oh, this thing looks like my framework, or this thing is what I am always looking out for whenever I want to make a trade. So that you're asking this question is actually a sign that you've not been able to develop a system that you are following. Okay, so kindly make sure that you have a system that you are following, and also you try to stick to your system, because that's the only way you can actually start making profits, or you can start seeing positive change when it comes to your trading. There are times that market will not get to my POI, and it's just move without me, but I will not panic because I know that whenever the trade gets to my POI, that is the only time I have a trade setup. So that is just it. I already have a framework that I'm using to trade, and anywhere I see it, I always recognize it. So that is that. So for those of you who are watching and you've not like registered for the bootcamp, registration is still on. We are starting next week on the 1st of May. That's when we are kicking off. So, and those of you who have registered, I will urge you to try to pay close attention. I will urge you to, be very attentive and learn what you can. This bootcamp, this 15,000 naira that you pay will save you a whole lot of stress for the rest of the year if you actually try to utilize it carefully. I'm inviting one of my mentors as well to come and teach. Even me myself, I will be learning that day because of course I will have to learn from him. So ensure that you pay attention and you don't miss class. And if you are given an assignment, try to do them. So that is pretty much about analysis. Any other question? If you have any other question, please bring it up so that we can iron it together. Or if you have a peer you want us to do analysis on, you can type it in the comment section so that we do justice to it. You're welcome, Mr. Albert. You're welcome. Any other questions or pair you want us to analyze? Any other one? Let's check step index and see. Okay, volatility. Sorry guys, welcome to Nigeria. They've taken our lights, so I was using my workspace, my PC before. I mean my monitor. I'm coming, let me increase the brightness of this. So let's look at volatility 75.1S. I think I also have a marking on, I'm not sure, let's check. Oh, I already have a POI that I'm waiting to see reactions from. But right now, this pair wants to buy. This pair wants to buy. So this is the daily time frame. This is the daily time frame. Well, this low was not taken out. It was just 2 weeks. The pair wants to buy. Because if you start analyzing from here, this is a major high that the market took out without regretting. It took it out just like that. So I think the pair will buy for some time. And aside that, if you look at the 4-hour time frame, it's already giving us bullish structures. It's already giving us bullish structure from the 4-hour time frame. So when you want to do your markings, if the chart is looking a little bit complex, you can always start from just any random place you can start. Okay. Now if I start from here, you can see that there was a change of character and price switched bearish, right? We had a break of structure here, but the moment this high was taken, out, we can say that there is a potential switch to a bullish structure. And you can see even from this point, if you start from here, you will notice that when this low was created, there was a potential lower low and a potential lower high here and a failed lower low. I'm trying to zoom out so that you guys can see it clearly. So this was a potential lower high, right? But this is a failed lower low. And what happened? Price took out this high, created this higher low, gave another break of structure. This is the 4-hour time frame. Another break of structure. And since then, price has been buying. Price has been buying aggressively. Now, this is where the last break of structure happens here. And since that time, we've not seen any major retracement to the downside. So everything that is happening now is price is just buying. Price is just buying, right? So if at all I'm to do anything on this particular pair, if at all I need to take a trade on it, the best thing I will have to do is to wait for that retracement. I will need to wait for that retracement. Very, very important. I'll need to wait for that retracement, and it will take a whole lot of time for it to happen. And that is why I'm looking out for a potential pullback sell from here. If I see what I'm looking out for. So that's just what is happening on and why do I have this particular POI marked out? I have this marked out because of the same setup, sweep of a previous high, break of structures, and there are liquidities. So I'm just looking at it that price Passy Pius, you're welcome. Civility, you're welcome. So if you are new, please help me like the live, and also you can join our Telegram channel. Check the descriptions, and also try to join the Telegram channel if you are new, and try to like the live so that YouTube can recommend it to more people. Thank you. So, and then don't forget to subscribe. If you have not done that, kindly do so. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. All right. So I'm saying that the reason why I marked out this POI is because there's a supply here. Okay, there's a supply here, and also there are liquidities resting here. So this is actually a good point to look out for possible pullback sell. We have been able to see that the market is currently bullish. Okay, and it has been buying without showing any sign of weakness. Bonner boy, no sign of weakness. So it has been buying aggressively without showing any sign of weakness. So we are looking out for where that pullback will happen. So I'm seeing this particular point as the possible area where the pullback will happen. So please, if you're a beginner and you're watching this, I've announced to you guys that we are having a boot camp that is meant for beginners or struggling traders, people who still don't have their way or who are still very much confused about the whole trading space. It's starting next month on the 1st of May. Registration is still ongoing. It's just 15,000 naira or $10. So, and there are a lot of things that you guys are going to learn from it. So if you want to register, you can still do that. All you need to do is to join the Telegram channel. The link is in the description of this live video. And then from there, you can always communicate with us if you are interested. So for volatility 751X, this is what I'm waiting for. Whenever price gets to this point, this is where I want to look out for possible pullback sell. Because right now, this is the premium region. I have no business. Yes, the market is bullish, but right now it will be difficult for me to know what to do here. So price needs to give me a retracement so that we can trade alongside with the overall trend of the market. Okay. So that is that about volatility 751X. Any other pair? So as you are seeing this, you can mark it out on your end so that you can take a screenshot of this so that you can go back and also try to mark it out on your own end. Then if you have a live account, you can trade it as well. Any other pair you want us to do analysis on, you can drop it here, please. If you are new, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like this live so that YouTube can recommend it to more people. If you have a question you want to ask, feel free to do so. Any questions so far? Any question? In the absence of no question, I believe you guys understood or enjoyed today's live. If you enjoyed today's live, let me see you in the comment section. I hope you've learned something today. Let's check while I'm waiting. Let's quickly check our trade, what is going on with it. I hope you've learned something today from our live class. Okay, still pulling back. So this is a trade that we are currently on. Let's see how far it will go. All right, so this is where we'll be stopping today, and hope to see you in our next live class, which is coming up on Saturday, next week Saturday. So we normally have this class every Saturday. So the next one will be on Saturday. Thank you for your time and have a lovely weekend. Peace out, guys.